Welcome back everyone to the Juicy Byte YouTube channel, where we're starting our descent into unemployability from the lofty heights of the Romanian second division. So let's see where we're at. We've just accepted the job offer from our new club, Soime Pancota. I hope I can get used to saying that, because the chances are we will be with them for a while. I'm going to go through the initiation ceremony effectively, and then I will look at what we have inherited. So first off, we're going to attend a meeting with the chairman. He wants to welcome us to the club. And he says, "Hi Harrison, welcome to Soime Pancota. I'd like to take a few minutes of your time to welcome you to the club before handing you over to your coach." So we don't have an assistant manager then, who is going to discuss staff responsibilities with you. I also want to assure you that you have the full backing of the board. Well, it's a bit interesting that we've got a vote of confidence already. And we wouldn't have hired you if we didn't feel that you were the right person to propel the club forward. So I'm going to reply and say, "Great, let's get this meeting started." Okay, this club are obviously a club with a lot of history. I've never heard of them, but okay. The fans really appreciate it when the newly appointed manager has taken the time to increase their knowledge of the club. Oh, yeah, you guys are famous. Would you like to know about our background? Well, that sounds like a great idea. I think I really need to know what I'm getting myself into here. It's traditional to hold a press conference. Do you want to do one? Yep. And thanks for answering my questions. I'm now going to hand you over to your coach because I'm fed up talking to you. Right. Okay, thanks again for the introduction. Hope to have a long and successful career. Hi, I'm Leontin Pinta, your coach. It looks like a bit of a shady character there. Must be embroiled in that FIFA corruption. I've got some questions to ask you regarding the day-to-day running of the team. Do you want to arrange an intra-squad friendly tomorrow to allow you to assess the players in both squads? I don't really care, so no. Okay, I won't schedule that. I've also written a report for you regarding the team. Would you like to see it? Yes, please. We'll have that. And would you like to arrange a meeting with the rest of the staff? Yep. I think it would be of great benefit. How would you like me to help you in terms of day-to-day tasks at the club? Well, let's just go down the list. Agent offers, don't filter them. I'd like to see them all. Friendlies, don't care. You can go on with it. Opposition instructions, well, you're probably going to discover with this career game that I'm very hands-off. And I'm going to leave all the hard work to my coach while I sit back and relax and just watch the games. So the coach can do that. The coach can handle the reserve teams. They can also do the teams talks. After all, I don't speak Romanian. Training, sounds like hard work. He can do that. Alright, so that's that sorted out. And before we go, the first thing to chance your arm on, if you are playing as a low-level character, I can't do it here, is that you want to try and start a coaching course as fast as you can. The reason for that is you have really bad attributes to begin with, and getting coaching licenses will boost those attributes, meaning that you can get better roles going forward once you have basically drilled the club you're at right into the ground and need a new job. So start a coaching course. Hopefully this club will let me do it. We'll soon find out. So the chairman's not really happy to see me twice in the same day. He says, "Welcome, what would you like to discuss?" And I'm going to say, "I think it would be beneficial for the club to allow me to take a coaching course to further my skills. And apparently we'll get no money. We are not currently willing to consider this due to the club's present financial situation." Alright, so this might be even more challenging than I expected. So it sounds like we're starting in debt. So let's look at our inbox and clear up our messages. We have a player on loan from another team. We'll check that out later. Social feeds, my unhelpful assistant has decided that I deserve a lot of spam in my inbox. Let's go to social feed. No, we're only following 16. That's not too bad. I guess he kept all the stuff out that I previously removed. However, looking at the feed, apparently I'm going to be a legend, and this particular fan can feel it in their bones. Good for them. And we have got a supporter who's a little bit less enthusiastic. They say, not getting excited about Harrison Haggis. I will wait and see how he gets on first. Well, there you go. So the club background, they were founded in 1923, so they're quite an old club. They're coming up for 100 years in the game. They play their home games at Communal, which is a 1,500 seater stadium. So we're never going to have a big draw there. Even if we play home games against top teams, we're not going to get big revenues at any point, which is a little bit of a penalty. But conversely, if we own this ground, it means that we don't necessarily have a large upkeep to pay either. And, the pitch condition is very good, which is always nice. Quite often when you start with the small teams, they've got a poor pitch condition, and it makes life a little bit harder as you get a bit more in the way of injuries. So back to our club history. They have got one remaining Third League Group 5 title. A lot of history there. They've got a fierce rivalry with another team called CS Nationals Sebis. And this Third League title came in 2014. They have adequate youth facilities, so that's good. That means we should get adequate youth players coming through. And we have got average training facilities. So it's not all bad news. Our coach, again, it looks like we don't have an assistant manager. He's given us some strengths and weaknesses of the club. Strengths, we have strength in depth for the defence and midfield. We have an excellent goalkeeper. We have an impressive defender who stands out as a strong option as a right back. We create an impressive average of 3 chances in 93 minutes while playing 4-4-2. I wouldn't call 3 chances in 93 minutes particularly impressive. Sounds like there's some work to do there to increase that number. And for formations, we have impressed going forward against 4-2-3-1 defensive midfielder wide formations. And that's great if the rest of the league plays that formation. Weaknesses, we're not very effective at 4-4-2. Well, there you go. 4-2-3-1 defensive midfield wide has been a source of problems. It sounds like they've only really basing this off the one game that they've played so far, one friendly. We have no left backs. That's not very good. So we desperately need to sort that out. We only have one central defender. So how can we have defence depth if we have no left backs and only one central defender? Do we have like 20 right backs? There's no great deal of quality outside the first team. There isn't much to speak of in terms of exciting youth prospects. They're painting a nice rosy picture for me here. We have no money, confirming my suspicions. We are currently overspending our wage budget by £73 a week. So it sounds like I need to offload before I can bring anyone in. So we're really up against it here in terms of our staffing. As an average player in this position, Robert Morschel, that doesn't represent ideal positional strength for left back. Well, you've already told me we don't have a left back. We've got another problem in left midfield, so our left flank is basically mince. Our team can't make decisions, so when you ask them what they want for dinner, it takes about 3.5 hours to come to a conclusion. Work rate, poor work rate, poor strength, poor teamwork, poor passing. There's not a lot there to kind of suggest that we're going to have a good season. On the other hand, it's going to be pretty easy to improve things. So a challenge ahead, but whatever we do, it's generally going to be the right thing. Introductory advice summary. So this is a new thing. Your staff will give you, well, it's not necessarily new, but they'll give you a slightly different presentation of their advice. And what's happened here is the coach has basically said, here's 3 guys that I think you should scout because they are better than what we have in attack, and 3 guys for midfield and 3 guys for defence. Now, I've also seen it give you recommendations on training people in certain ways or playing certain formations and stuff like that. So it's not just player recommendations that come up here. You get staff recommendations as well, and training recommendations, and so on and so forth. Okay, so from here, I'm a little bit concerned about the finances, so let's see where we're at with that. Okay, this month we have suffered a loss of £2,000, and our overall balance is minus 1,478. So that is not encouraging. However, we're not that heavily in debt. Income, we've made £966, and we've made that through season tickets. So we haven't had a home game yet. Last month we received 96,000 sponsorship. So where did that all go? I guess it went to servicing debt or something like that, because it's not counted towards the bank balance. Wages, we're spending £2,693 a week. And that exceeds our wage budget by about £73. So we need to, as I mentioned earlier, sell before we buy. Debts and loans, we've got some debt, but we don't have any loans. That will doubtless change as the season progresses. We have a sponsorship for our main kit, but we didn't see any of that money this season into our budget as far as I can tell. And the projection is that at the end of this season we will be nearly 100,000 in debt. Oh, sorry, that was 26. Yep, that's this season. And the season after it'll be minus 158,000. So let's see if we can find a way to turn that round. At least to some degree. We can't allow that to continue over the long term unless we switch clubs to somewhere more prosperous. Let's see what our staff situation's like. So I like what they've did with this screen. In previous versions it would just list the staff that you had and their roles. Now it gives you a visual. So let's see what we've got. We have myself, the manager. We've got Leonton Pinta, the coach, who's only getting £45 a week for the next 2 years. And the board feel that the coaching team is understaffed and more personnel should be recruited. And they think we need 5 more. Well, that's great, guys, but you're going to need to give me a bigger wage budget for that to happen. Scouting team. The board feel that the scouting team and transfer team is in need of a chief scout, and we've got a director of football. I'd be tempted to get rid of him if I could find a way to do it without upsetting anyone. And we've got no other scouts. And we've got no physios either. You might have noticed here that we've got some new job roles that we didn't have in previous versions. We've got chief data analysts and data analysts. So I've not had any of them before, so I don't know what they do. And similarly, in the physio department, we've got a head of sports science and sports scientists. So hopefully when we get a bit further into the game, we'll be able to get one of those and check them out. Okay, so that is the staff. Let's get into the the meat of things and check out the squad. I've already promoted all of my reserves into the first team here just so we can get a good comparison. So what we've got is, we've got 2 goalkeepers, one of whom happens to be on loan to us. We've got 2 right backs. Contrary to our coach's opinion, we do actually have 2 left backs. We've got 4 centre defenders, a couple of more sort of right-sided players, one of whom can play wing back, one can play either defence or midfield. A couple of defensive midfielders, a right midfielder, lots of central midfielders. One guy that can play quite a few positions. He can play central midfield, any attacking midfield position, and a striker position. We've got left winger, right winger, and 4 strikers. Most of our guys are unsurprisingly Romanian, but we do have some foreigners in there. We've got a Uruguayan, who's only 16. We've got an Italian, who's probably maybe a bit of a journeyman, perhaps. I'm speculating. Let's see who he used to play for. Yeah, he's been around the bush a bit. He's 28 years old. We have an Algerian teenager. We have a Frenchie, an Egyptian, and we have an Englishman. And most of our squad are quite young. We've got a lot of guys that are under 21 and not so many guys with a bit of experience behind them. We do have a really old fellow at 41 years old. Most of our contracts are running until the end of the season by the looks of it. We have 3 guys on a 2-year contract, all of whom are in the under 21 team. And we have, rather bizarrely, in my opinion, for a team at this level, 8 players who are on a 3-year deal, but they're only on £20 a week, so it's not really that big an outlay. They're all 16-year-olds. It must be like youth contracts they're on. Let's have a look at the general happiness. I've added some columns in for expediency just because these are the kind of bits of information that I like to see. Some of these players are new to the club and they're pleased to have joined. Some other players hope they'll learn quite a bit. We've got a guy loan listed and he's looking to get an experience by going on loan, but we might not keep him there and we might change his status depending on what he looks like. And we don't have any serious concerns that need addressed, is the bottom line. I've got some star rating columns here. So I've added 3 columns in. We've got assistant manager's recommendation. Now I think this is the overall, whether the assistant manager reckons they should be playing or not. It's like an average of ability and potential. I'm not 100% certain on that because as you can see this guy here, let's see who he is. Oops. Ionut Ayank has got an overall recommendation of 4 stars and 1 black star, which I take as being like a maybe for the recommended status. But his current ability is only 2 stars, but his potential is the same as his recommended. So I'm not quite sure how that's calculated, so I just leave all 3 up. In terms of overall ability, however, we've got 2 guys that are 4.5 stars. They are obviously our best players for their current ability, or how my assistant sees their current ability. They are Doranil Popa. He's a 27-year-old defensive midfielder. He can also play midfield right centre. He's quite determined. He's got good stamina and strength, so I'd be looking to him to kind of push the opposition midfield around a bit. Maybe as a ball-winning midfielder. I know his tackling's only 9, but the rest of his attributes are more or less where I need them to be. Let's see who else we have. Okay, so my second best player, in theory, is our 41-year-old midfielder. And to be honest, I'm hoping that is a mistake because he doesn't really look that impressive at all. He's the kind of guy I'd be looking to phase out or turn into a coach. So in terms of high potential players, we've got quite a lot of them, or perhaps it just means that the potential ceiling in this club isn't particularly high. Shall we cover off the first 5? Yeah, why not? So we've got Ionut Iank, defender. He looks truly woeful in his current position. We've got Andrei Petrascu, central midfielder. At least he's got some attributes that are noteworthy. He can pass the ball most of the time. Decent work rate for this level. He can make decisions. So he's usually the guy that says, let's order pizza. We've got Alexandru Stavarash, who is a striker. He can dribble quite well. He can head the ball. I'm a little bit concerned that his finishing's below par and his composure's below par, and he doesn't really have a lot of pace. But he does have acceleration, he does have fitness. And your granny can pass the ball better than he can. We've got Razvan Dulap, the right-sided defender. He's strong, he's got stamina, can tackle and mark to a reasonable degree. He's determined. Teamwork's reasonably good work rate. And although you can't see this in the screen, I have also set him as my throw-in expert down the right-hand side. He's got 10 for throw-ins apparently. So he is basically my Rory Delap. And last but not least, of our hot prospects, another central midfielder. It's the Algerian fellow. Pretty decent physical stats. Not too much else to get excited about, unfortunately. He might get some playing time, but he's more likely to fall into a backup role. So let's move on to tactics. I know I didn't cover anyone in great depth, or rather I didn't cover everyone in great depth, but to be fair, there's a lot of junk in there that isn't even worth ruminating over, so we're going to go right to tactics. So what I'm thinking is, we'll start with a flat 4 defence. We have lots of central midfielders, so I think we'll play 3 in the middle. We won't play with a winger, because we have to make sacrifices somewhere, obviously, as we can only field 11 guys. I've been playing other games offline of 2017, and I've not found wingers at low level to be particularly useful, so we're going to go for a central attacking midfielder as the main source of creativity in the team. I might change his role depending on who we put in there, but essentially he's there to link up the midfield to the attack and create opportunities. We've got a supporting attacker, deep lying forward, and we've got a advanced forward. Again, he might become a poacher or something like that. It depends on who we slot in. In terms of team instructions, we're going to obviously play right down the middle because we've got nothing on the wide flanks. I might go for a more direct passing strategy. We might use tighter marking, but we'll have to get into the game a little bit to see how things go there. And if that fails, we will have to go right back to the drawing board, and we'll cover that off when we hit that problem. So I won't play any games this episode. Those will start next episode. What I'm planning to do is I'll just hit schedule. So what I'm planning to do is I'm going to play a month at a time, and I'll cover off all of the matches during that month. And at the end of that episode, we'll look at things like transfers and how teams are performing in the wider world and so on and so forth, to keep it at least a little bit interesting. I won't do a particular episode for July because I think we need to get into some games now. So we'll take July and August as a winner. So next episode we will be playing our opening fixture against CSM RM Valsea. We will be playing against Olympia SM at home. We will be playing CS Bolo Teste. That'll be away from home. We have a currently unknown opponent in the remaining Cup 4th round. My board's expectation is to get to the 5th round, so hopefully we can rise to that particular challenge. And last but probably not least, we're going to be playing Luciferul Or. And that one's away from home. So that's where we're going with the next episode, and I'm hoping to get some points on the board early on so that when the rest of the field get used to my tactics and how to counter it, we've got a few points to spare. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, please do subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you next time.